What if that wide receiver not only is here, but he's entering his third year? No one realizes it, or maybe very few realize it. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Calvin Austin III, yes, is entering his third season. It's not going to seem like it because he missed all of what would have been his rookie season with a foot injury. And because, as some of you will recall, he told me in his preparation for what would eventually become his rookie season, he himself was going to treat it like year two. He wasn't going to let himself off the hook in terms of his work and preparation. So what he did as a rookie, a true rookie, was he sat in every wide receiver classroom. He sat in every video session. He sat with an individual receiver at times just to try to pick their brains or to watch what they're watching, to absorb what they're absorbing. So even if he couldn't run, even if all of that elite speed had been temporarily taken from him, he was going to continue attempting to advance his own cause. So he gets out there in 2023, and he ends up with, I think, what most people would agree wasn't the most spectacular season. 17 catches on 30 targets, 180 yards. He had the one touchdown in the regular season. You'll remember he also had one in the playoff game in Buffalo. And nothing that was excessively exciting. He also fumbled the ball twice, not to be left off of there. He didn't lose either of them, but he did allow the ball to leave his hands. Coaches don't forget stuff like that. But here he is now, new offense, new coordinator, 2 new quarterbacks, and all this amid an atmosphere where people like me and maybe you are calling for the team to continue adding wide receivers, if not just one of some significant repute. Well, I had a good conversation with Cal on a couple of these topics, and I'm going to play it for you here. Couple minutes of it anyway. So you and I are in the locker room there in Buffalo. Yep. You just caught a touchdown pass in a playoff game, and I want to ask you this. This is not about you, this is about the whole team. What's it going to take for this team to get back into playoffs and win playoff games? How hungry are you for that?
Really, to continue doing what we're doing now. Those winning plays and winning moments are created, not even in OTAs, are created when we first reported, what was that, like April, you know what I'm saying? That's when it was created in, just especially with, how Russ just approaches everything and his energy and his, he's always pushing. So it's not like you can just come in for a simple route session and be relaxed. He's pushing for greatness. He's like, look, we're about to do this route session, just us in the wideouts, but this route right here is to win the AFC championship. He's talking like that with us.
He'll say that?
He'll say that.
That's
so,
really cool.
It's not like we have a chance to, so like just having him as the leader, we just, just gonna follow suit. Everybody just bring that energy, and that's what I think we could create that culture to help us win when it counts toward the end.
Cal, what about this wide receiver group? There's a lot of people who go, well, who else is there? I'm sure you're hearing that, you're reading that. I've said it myself. You're just looking around right now, but is there enough here?
With the guys in the room, you talk to anybody individually, they will all say that, that we're good. Just because everybody has tremendous confidence in themselves, you have to play that position. But, with the personnel stuff, as a player, you can't really get too much into that. But, man, we look around the room and we just are a group that's, going to create our own culture, create our own standard. And we all know, we know the business. We know we're competing against each other for jobs, but we have an impact. We have a mindset where we're going to be the best position group on the field. You know what I'm saying? In the meeting room, how we take the field, all that.
impossible to not love this kid. Really. I mean, I hope that comes across. If you knew Cal, you'd be his most ardent supporter. You'd be making Cal signs to carry into the Acrisure Stadium upper decks and pasting them across those back fences against the north side. As it is, you'll have to settle for now for what I think could be accepted reasonably as fact that he's had a very good OTAs. And I'll keep sharing with you that the only thing I ever feel like you can assess in these types of workouts is wide receiver play, maybe to an extent quarterbacks, but really only wide receiver play. And I guess defensive backs, although they're not allowed to be physical. The whole thing is just whatever. It's football in shorts. But Cal's been good. Cal's been on assignment. He's been on brand with the speed, and he's been on the mark as far as catching the football. That's all encouraging no matter which way Omar Khan ends up going at the position. And heck, if you think about it, if Cal were to really rise up, and I am sure that there are people inside the Steelers who believe that he's capable of that, then you would be saving, in all likelihood, your general manager a lot of capital, because whoever it is that you do get is going to cost A, personnel or draft picks, probably draft picks, and B, a lot of money in cap space into the future. If you've just seen what Brandon Ayuk wants now from the 49ers, which is more than $20 million a year. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar.
Today's J1Q comes from Kevin, who says, DK, love these daily shots every day. Required listening on my drive to work. Appreciate that, Kevin. Says, regarding Pat Freiermuth and injuries, isn't that why the Steelers drafted Darnell Washington? This is why building depth is so vital. It's going to take a village this year and most years. For anyone who doesn't know, Kevin's referring to recent discussions that we've had on the show about Freiermuth becoming really the number 2 target behind George Pickens, possibly in this offense. The talk that I had with Freiermuth a few days ago at OTAs would certainly lead one to believe that he's going to become a major part of this offense. I mean, major. And as such, it's reasonable, I think, to worry that if he's not out there, and then you take a major part of your offense out on a given week, yikes, right? So from there, Kevin, I'll come back at you with this. I haven't seen a whole lot that would suggest to me that Washington's usage is being ramped up, meaning as a pass-catching tight end, to put him into that kind of position, meaning, oh, Freiermuth's out? Well, that's fine. Washington will just do all that. I'm not seeing that. I'm not hearing that. I'm not sensing that. And although we still are at the natal stages, maybe the prenatal stages of this offense being put together, one would think that that would have come across already. And not to go told you so on everybody or whatever, I don't really get into that sort of thing. But I did say that last year that I had seen, heard, sensed that Washington wasn't really being set up to become some sort of, I don't even want to say primary target, secondary target. I think you're going to see him continue to be used as a de facto extra lineman out there who can occasionally surprise you by becoming available for a pass. And if the quarterback, it doesn't have to be a check down. Some of his catches last year were not check downs. but he'd be somebody who's involved in the offense only to that extent. And the reason for this, and please don't pin this one on me, all I do is share with you stuff that comes across, okay? Meaning stuff that I'm picking up while I'm there. I'm not going to pass judgment on somebody, especially when they're this young. If Darnell Washington ends up becoming the next Antonio Gates, I would be the happiest guy in the world, okay? Meaning happy to tell you, hey, I was wrong. But I don't have any sense that the Steelers are building him up to be that, because I don't think that they see him as being a clean, smooth, excessively athletic receiver. And I mean receiver in the most literal sense, as in receiving the football. He can catch it, but can he contort? Can he turn and go? There are a lot of different things that I've had shared with me by people who can watch him with an expert eye and say that, you know, he's not coming down with the ball the way you want. He's not turning the way you want. Can that be coached up? Sure, maybe. Why not? So let's keep it in the hopeful lane while also keeping it on a realistic highway, if you will. This is not, for example, like having Jesse James on the roster when you have Heath Miller. It's just not. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers, and we're going to have one more of these tomorrow.